Hello guys, what are you doing in there? Right, today we're going to have a look at my top 5 fragrances that I bought this year, 2020, so it should be a really fun video. Before we do that, I'm going to show you my video of my wrap that I did for Scent Explore 2020, Max 40's big event that's just taken place, and I was roasting some of the other reviewers. Not my finest work ever, but hey, I was struggling for a better intro, so I'm going to put that in now, and then we'll get into my top 5. Once again, this is Frank from 2020. Your chance to hang out with the fragrance cognoscenti. I got my Siage and the Brooklyn fragrance lover. When he smells me coming, then he's gonna run for cover. Max 40's been naughty cause he threw away his chess set. You want a proper review, Mr. Smelly is your best bet. Big Beard Business and Mark Robes 08. I'm gonna take you on in a fragrance debate. David from the Fragrance Bros, I'm gonna keep you on your toes. Curly Sensor Just a Rose, I'll show you who's the greatest known. Christian Fragmental and Mr. Joe sent me. I'm gonna lay it down now and no one can prevent me. Clement CC and Kristen Capolino. I'm smelling fresher than a Roli Portofino. Justin, stay fresh, stop blowing on that trumpet. Now it's time to talk about fragrances, so dump it. I can't think of a rhyme for a red adolescence, but I've got things to say to you too, Stephen.
My name's Captain Sensible and that is my name. When it comes to men's fragrances, you know I got game. Mr. Smelly's not very good, I'll tell you the truth. He talks about fragrance like an ignorant youth. He thinks he's the business, but that's an illusion. He talks a load of rubbish and causes confusion. He mostly likes fragrances that are made for old men, repeating the same old nonsense time and time again. My wife's not speaking to me at the minute. She bought a new dress and I told her to bin it. She asked if it made her bum look big, I said yes. Now I'm sleeping on the sofa, I have to confess.
Give me back the microphone, you high-pitched clown. The audience at Scent Explore don't need you around. It's time to talk perfume in a serious way. I use lots of clever words, so write down what I say. Yeah, what do you want, Mum? Yeah, I'm recording a rap at the moment. Yeah, a rap? No, it's not a computer game. Can I have beans on toast? No, egg on toast. Yeah, alright, I'll be down in a minute. Alright, thanks, Mum. Okay guys, so let's get stuck into it. So my top 5 favourite purchases of the year 2020. Of course, the highlight of the year really for me, apart from anything I bought myself, was the release of my own fragrance, Gravitas Pour On by the brand Norton & Wilson. We very much want to be seen as a niche brand, a British niche brand, not just a YouTuber thing. And the reviews for this fantastic Fougere fragrance from perfumer John Stephen have been incredible online on YouTube and written reviews and everywhere really.
So I find this fragrance shockingly good.
Fantastic stuff, and absolutely that has made my year. There's a link in the description to buy the fragrance in the USA, UK, EU and Canada if you are interested to do so. But let's get on with the subject at hand here. Let's see which ones I've really enjoyed. Where should we start? Just one other quick honourable mention, and this could be of use to some of you guys out there. I have a special code, Smelly10, for the website executiveshaving.co.uk. They ship their fragrances there, of which there are many very good affordable ones, to the UK and the EU. And the Smelly 10 code gives you 10% off. This, for example, was a really nice one that I didn't buy, but I was sent this one free. Nevis, it's their own brand, Executive Shaving. Fantastic clone of Green Irish Tweed. Actually better for me than Ragbar for Man, or what's the other one, Armagh Train Nuit, better than any of the inexpensive clones, and actually right up there with some very expensive ones. I can't remember the exact price, it's like under £15 or something for the 100ml. Don't quote me on the price, but that would be like my top recommendation for them, an aftershave cologne, but I think the strength is actually more like eau de toilette. So if you're looking for a bargain, Smelly 10 gets you 10% off. Their link in the description for those guys. Let's see what I bought that I love them. Okay, well, bit of a surprise maybe, because we're in the middle of December, but I'm still loving this juice. And this is Creed's Irolfa. As you can see, I picked up a tester bottle, hence no lid. So Irolfa from Creed, 1992 release from the brand of Creed, and a real stunning fragrance. It's a citrus aromatic, and it was intended to capture the feeling of being on a fancy yacht out in the open sea, perhaps with a clear, cloudless sky and the sea spray hitting you in the face, and maybe a little bit of a breeze with citrus notes in the air. What I've been amazed by with this one, I've been wearing it a lot over the last couple of years, weeks I mean, and that's kind of weird, isn't it, because it's December, but I don't care, I like to smell fresh anytime. And the performance on it is really, really nice. I've particularly been spraying it on clothes, on jumpers and jackets, and the way that it hangs around in the air is really, really nice. It's got this really, really bright citrus opening, and then this lovely, quite a few kind of herbal notes in there. I think there's cumin, what else is, I can't remember all the different herbs and spices, but there are quite a few herbal and spicy things in there. I think there's some jasmine going on, loads of different citruses, like a citrus melange, as Max Forte would say, ambergris and cedarwood in the base. Just one of the best Creed freshies, really, really underrated, and maybe overtaking Virgin Island water as my absolute favourite freshie from Creed. A superb summer fragrance, but I don't care. Sometimes I just wish it was summer in the middle of January or whatever, and therefore a Rolf, I've been so happy to have that one in the collection this year. I just picked it up somewhere near the beginning of the year. So that's kind of vying it right now as being my number one favourite fragrance. But you know me, guys, I do love, apart from my fougères, I love fresh fragrances, so no surprise that I like that one. Let's move on then. We've got 5 picks. That was number 1. They're in no particular order, by the way. Okay, this was a real great thing for me to pick up. I was so happy to add to the collection the legendary Barbershop Fougère or Oriental Fougère fragrance by MDCI Parfums, and of course this is Invasion Barbare, which is a lovely, lovely fragrance. I think it's Stephanie Bacouche, a perfumer. I think it goes right back to 2005 or something. That one, very basic box you get there from this brand. So nothing too fancy about that. The bottle design is cute though. I like the little sash there. And this one is a really nice, I would call it an Oriental Fougère. So it's a Fougère fragrance which has some of the things you expect, a sort of powdery vibe, absolutely for sure. I think there's some bergamot and grapefruit in the opening. Definitely has some spiciness. There's cardamom in this one, and there's a little bit of a vanilla thing in the base. It's got a kind of powdery vanilla base with spiciness and a really, really high class aura about the fragrance. People call it a barbershop fragrance, and with the name Invasion Barbare, you can understand that they're doing a bit of a play on words there, but it's so much more than that. It doesn't really have anything particularly green or fern-like. Well, certainly that's not a big feature of the fragrance that perhaps we expect in a fougère, but it definitely has this kind of soapy, clean-cut barbershop type aura about it, but this powderiness, there's quite a bit of lavender in there too. Really, really high quality stuff, complex, enigmatic, a charming fragrance, and very much not a dated fragrance, but if you like the idea of the barbershop vibe, then that's a rather pricey and upscale rendition of that. So yeah, really happy to have that one in the collection, and way overdue for me as the guy who loves fougères to just get it this year. Next up then, we've got one with a rather fancy box here, which I'm probably not going to be able to show properly in the, no, maybe I can. Okay, Luciano Pavarotti. Wow, this was a real thrill to pick up, and especially as I got a signed picture and a CD from the man himself, Luciano Pavarotti. Perhaps, well, he's got to be, hasn't he, the most famous opera singer of all time. I'll try and let you see the presentation there. So I got the shower gel, which I haven't used. It's sort of too good to use. You don't want to spoil it and use it really. And then this rather snazzy presentation case. So this was a 1994 release. Let's just get the bottle on display there. That's the main thing. And I think it's just called Luciano Pavarotti. There was a later fragrance for men under the same brand name, but this one just simply has the name Luciano Pavarotti, and it's a superb, very, very rich, niche smelling fragrance, now discontinued. Not sure what price it would have been at. I think you'd kind of classify it more in the designer fragrance level. I don't know the perfumer for this one. If you like Givenchy Gentleman, the classic from 1974, if you've smelled the vintage, there's a reminiscence to that a little bit, but it's not as old school smelling as that. It's very rich. It's got a kind of boozy honey opening, which is beautiful. It shares the very notable patchouli note of Givenchy Gentleman, and then a really kind of rich, spicy, woody aura about this one. Perhaps a hint of the animalic musk and undertone that you did also get in Givenchy Gentleman. Quite a bit of leather in this one, and a really nice boozy, spicy opening. Very rich. Pavarotti was a man who sang with incredible passion, of course, in his voice. Also lived life to the full. There are some famous anecdotes about some of his backstage escapades, which I wouldn't repeat on a family channel, but an absolutely great character who's been dead for a number of years now, but the fragrance just about lives on if you're lucky enough to find it, and I did on eBay. So that was kind of my favourite pickup of a vintage discontinued fragrance. Performance on that very strong for me so far. Invasion bar good, not amazing but good. Erolfa surprisingly good. Nevis aftershave cologne actually lasts longer than you might think. It's more like an eau de toilette. Okay, so we've had 1, 2, 3 already. Let's see what's next in the list then. Back to something mainstream, well not main, a kind of a, what do you call this, an artisanal niche brand, I guess we call these guys. And this is Bortnikov Vesna Cologne, which is an absolutely wonderful fresh fragrance. I did buy this one. They have sent me 1 or 2 things free, but in this case I actually said, look, I really want that one, and I'm insisting on buying it because I want to show people that I put my money where my mouth is with some of these fragrances that I recommend. So Vesna Cologne, the word Vesna, apparently I think it means spring in Russian, and Vesna was actually, or is, a kind of goddess of spring who heralds in the beginning of spring, a mythical figure in Slavic culture. So it's a cute idea. The note listing on this one is really rather fun, so I'm going to read that out. Actually, it's the only one of the day here where I'm going to do that. Lemon, black tea and tomato leaf, pineapple, magnolia, dried fruits extract and nagamotha, also sometimes known as cypriol oil. So it's a beautiful spring-like fragrance. It kind of captures something like what I imagine is the aura of spring maybe in Russia. So it's not very, very citrusy, although there is a lemon note in here. The black tea is the thing they love to drink in Russia, apart from gallons and gallons of vodka, but that's not represented in this fragrance. The black tea is, and it's got a subtle hint of that kind of tea-like note, which I don't like to have overdone in a fragrance, but it's in there. Pineapple I wouldn't pick up on. What I do pick up on is a lovely fruity note, which I would say to my nose is blackcurrant or cassis. Reminds me a little bit of Vagabond Prince's Enchanted Forest, a famous one from Bertrand de Chefort. Just a hint of that fragrance in this one. So it's kind of woody and fruity, a kind of chypre fruity fragrance, but not like Creed's Aventus, despite the shared pineapple note. Really, really nice kind of resinous woody undertones with this kind of fruity aura. Very fresh, but in a very, very unique way. Great performance on this one from me and Dmitry Bortnikov, an enigmatic Russian perfumer based out in Thailand, who uses some very rare tinctures, that many of which he distills himself. So that kind of stuff excites me. We're nearly at the end of the list then, guys. And I wanted to get one cheapie in here that I'd actually bought with my own money, but not much of it because it's very inexpensive. So here it is. It's called, hang on here, this could be difficult, Przemyslauka. Now, I know I've pronounced that wrong. It's a Polish traditional eau de cologne that goes way back to the beginning of the century, the 20th century, that is. I'll read a little bit of the blurb on the back. So they say Przemyslauka, or however you say it, is a legendary eau de cologne produced according to the original recipe since 1919. The cologne's traditional fragrance is based on citrus notes, which combined with herbal notes and lavender create the feeling of invigorating freshness and lightness. And indeed, it's really, really good for the money. I think it was something like £6, but I think it maybe cost me another £6 to ship the thing from Poland, but it's still £12 for a great eau de cologne splash, 100ml. Okay performance, not disgraceful. I've decanted a bit into a sprayer, and it's just very nice citrus with some herbal tones. Simple but very, very beautiful natural smelling citrus with some greenness and lavender. And I love these great cheapies, and that's a very obscure one, unless you're in Poland, where I think it's quite famous. Okay, so that after giving this much consideration, there were many other things I bought this year. You guys out there don't need to go buying millions of things all the time and spending money you haven't got. I have a fragrance review channel, so I've got an excuse and a reason to do that. But don't try this at home. Don't go overboard in your spending. These have been my favourites of the year. Notice no designer kind of mainstream fragrance there, so there hasn't been anything that's really thrilled me in that department this year, apart from some kind of vintage stuff. I did buy Moschino Toy Boy, which was kind of a new and quite good release, and a couple of others, but not quite good enough to make this list. Guys, let me know in the comments down below what you thought of my list and what your favourite fragrances of the year that you bought were, 2020. I'll be interested to see what you come up with. Thanks ever so much for watching. Remember, whatever you're doing in life, let's project. I'll see you in the next video. Bye bye.